Hey, I'm back to read you chapter 11 of Hank Zipzer's I Got a D in Salami. When we left the last chapter, Hank had just passed his report card that has 3 D's on it to his friends, and the last friend dropped his report card in a meat grinder, and his paper is becoming part of the meat. Well, soy salami. I wonder if you can get sick from eating paper inside meat. We'll have to see. Here is chapter 11. Oops. Chapter 11. Papa Pete rushed in and carrying a brown grocery bag. Well, if it isn't my grandchildren, he said, giving us each a kiss on top of the head. Papa Pete knows that I'm the only one who's actually related to him. But he calls all of us his grandkids anyways. Sorry I couldn't pick you up today, Hanky, he said to me. I had to come to your mother's rescue. Pop, Hank, and I were just having an important conversation, my mom said. Oh, I think she calls her dad Pop. I think Dad's still in the waiting room, so Dad isn't a part of this yet. Hank and I were having an important conversation, my mom said. What's so important that can't wait until tomorrow, he asked. Now is not the time to talk, Randy. Randy is Mom's name. Now is the time to grind meat. If we don't get some zing into that paste you're calling salami, your order from Mr. Gristiliano is going to go out the window. Papa Pete slipped his butcher apron over his head and began to sharpen his chopping knife. Papa Pete, I need to talk to you sometime, I whispered. It's about my grades. We'll talk tomorrow, he whispered back. No time to talk now, he said in a loud voice. So no one could see we were whispering. I've got to save your mother from ruining her business. Pop, I'm not ruining my business, my mom said to him. Papa Pete turned off the meat grinder that was chewing up the last of my report card. He took off the bowl, gave it a sniff, and turned up his nose. Ooh! I tried to get a look inside the bowl. I could see a few chunks of brown manila paper blended into the beige soy mixture. You will if you try to pass off that soy glue here as salami, he said. Papa Pete said, shoving the bowl to the end of the counter. It looks terrible, and it tastes like nothing. It tastes like soy, my mother said. Which tastes like nothing, Papa Pete said. I rest my case. He reached inside the brown grocery bag and pulled out several long strands of fresh purple garlic. Yeah, purple garlic. Now this is the food of the gods, he said. Garlic. This will make your taste buds stand up and salute. Must be pretty good. My mother shook her head. Pop, that much garlic will overwhelm the taste of the soy, she said. Nonsense, Randy, he said. Garlic puts hair on your chest. Isn't that right, men? He looked at Frankie and me and winked. We laughed. That's what must have happened to Papa Pete because he has more hair on his chest than a gorilla. On his face, too. He has a mustache that is so big he calls it his handlebars. Must go out like this. Let's get to work, Randy, he said. I'll help you whip up a new batch of salami that tastes like something. All right, Pop. My mom sighed. I could tell she had given up the fight. When Papa Pete has a plan, it's pretty hard to talk him out of it. Hank, we'll continue this conversation tomorrow, she said. That's good enough for me. I had bought myself another day to figure things out. Papa Pete reached into his pocket and pulled a $20 bill. He rolled it up and slipped it into the palm of my hand. On the way home, stop at McKelty's and get yourself and the other grandkids a root beer float. Sorry about that. I wish I was having a root beer float instead of just water. On your way home, stop at McKelty's and get yourself and my other grandkids some root beer floats, he said. And tell the chopped livers bowling team I'll bowl tonight, but I'll be a little late. Your mother and I have some high-level delicatessen work to do. So you and Mom aren't going to use the stuff in here for Mr. Gristiliano's salami? I asked, pointing the bowl with my report card in it. I wouldn't give that to my dog, said Papa Pete. The only thing that stuff is good for is to lie at the bottom of the dumpster. It's trash. As we left the back room, I gave Frankie and Ashley a big thumbs up. My report card was going bye-bye in the trash. This had worked out better than I could have hoped for. Robert, you're a genius, I whispered, slapping him on the back so hard he almost fell over. He acts like such an adult that sometimes I forget Robert's just a pencil-neck 8-year-old. I could feel the bones in his back. He really should eat something more than mashed potatoes or something. I have an IQ of 137, Robert said. Technically, a genius is someone with an IQ of 140 and above. Do you ever lighten up, Robert? Asked Frankie. Actually, no, said Robert. My dad walked us home, and we had the greatest afternoon. We stopped for root beer floats at McKelty's Rollin' Bowl. When we got back to our apartment, Emily wasn't there. She was playing at her friend Jenna's house, so we had the place to ourselves. Frankie and I played video games while Ashley made rhinestone mouse pad for her mom's birthday. Robert helped my dad with his crossword puzzle. When Robert told him that a spider relative with 2 pairs of eyes was a horseshoe crab, I thought my dad was going to blast right out of his chair. Those 13 letters had put him in such a good mood that he let us watch cartoons on TV until it was time for everyone to go home for dinner. My mom was really happy when she got back from work. She was so filled with her salami dreams that it seemed she had forgotten all about my report card. She could hardly wait until the next day. She said she had a feeling Mr. Gristiliano was going to give her a big order. If he did, she promised to take us all on vacation somewhere. She suggested a weekend in Vermont. My dad wanted to go fly fishing in Canada. I voted for Costa Rica because I've always wanted to see a real rainforest. Besides, I figured that if they found out my report card and got really mad, I could hide in the rainforest and live on eating bananas. Maybe a monkey family would adopt me. Emily said she wasn't going anyplace where there weren't crocodiles. I suggested leaving Emily home. We ate tuna melts and chicken noodle soup for dinner. So when will we find out Mr. Gristiliano's decision, I asked. Carlos is delivering a tray of salami to him tomorrow morning, my mom said. Mr. Gristiliano is having all his managers over for a tasting party. If they like it, we should hear right away. They have to like it, I said. I'm sure you and Papa Pete came up with a great recipe. Actually, my mother said, I have a little secret. Don't tell Papa Pete. But I went back to my first version of the soy salami. I thought that we made together had way too much garlic. I stopped eating. You don't mean the original batch of salami, I said. The one you were making when I was there about 3:35? Yes, my mom said, that's the one. That's the winner. I asked Carlos to roll it up and put it in the fridge. He'll slice it tomorrow morning and deliver the platter first thing. Oh no, that was the batch of salami with the special ingredient. My report card. I reached for a glass of water and gulped it down all at once. What's wrong, honey? My mom said. Wrong, I asked. What could possibly be wrong? I was so excited. That's the end of the chapter. How is he going to solve his problem? His salami with his report card is going to be served. Oh no, he's in so much trouble. Come back and see what happens in chapter 12. See ya.